All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemar Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Akim they're pushing the word of sincerity and in truth. Yeah, I just want to do this lesson. You see the title, Rome All Over Again. One of the brothers in the camp, Kabash, Captain, here, he had posted the image of Lady Liberty, and I just wanted to kind of, just do a lesson in regards. He kind of sparked the spirit on me to backlog on certain things that I had in informative pertaining to the image of the Statue of Liberty, because there's always multiple speculations of the origin. And I just was researching how it came from this one guy. Let's see. Yeah, Frederic Auguste Bartholdi, which was a French sculptor and a painter, and he was the designer of the Statue of Liberty, which he was a French Mason, and I heard the apostles going to this years ago. And, I just wanted to research because I thought that he was a French Orient, which he comes to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Grand Orient Lodge. But nonetheless, he was definitely a Mason. It even tells you in this article, which I'm just doing a little bit of research on, just reading. And he's been attributed with certain works throughout the throughout history. Also, he had put the chains there. Originally, it arrived with chains presented in the left hand, leading down to the feet, which would represent the liberty of the United States from slavery. It was also originally the color of copper to represent as such. The United States made a deal with Bartholdi that if the chains were to be removed from the upper part of the body, they could stay at the feet, but they too must be hidden. It was also rumored in France that the face of the Statue of Liberty was modeled after Bartholdi's mother, which a lot of people speak about how that image is actually Alexander the Great, or the Greek. And there's a few points on what people speak on, but we already know through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shema Shah, that these images that this devil presents is all predicated upon wickedness. I want to get into this point on how he converted, just to show in this article that he definitely was a Mason. I was just not reading it yet. It was French-Prussian War. Later years, in 1875, he joined the Freemasons Lodge, Alsace-Lorraine in Paris. I might be butchering it. My French isn't the finest. But in 1876, Bartholdi was one of the French commissioners in 1876 to the Philadelphia Centennial Explosion. Later died from tuberculosis. But I want to bring out the point that, he definitely was juiced in. He was a lesser luminary, and he was tapped into those people, the elites, the Illuminati, and all these devils, man, these Jesuits, these different priests during the time of the inception of America. They were all worshiping Satan, whether they directly knew or indirectly had an idea, or I'll just say whether they directly knew or unbeknownst to them associating with these different lodges and these different, first off, he's an Edomite anyways, but these different lodges of masonry and these secret societies, it was all to push demonism, so to speak. So going back to which I can get it to Bertus, because history repeats itself, and that's why I coined it as Rome all over again, because Libertus is the original image that this guy pretty much stole. He didn't steal it in regard of thievery, because I guess in these are all Edomite images, but nonetheless, he took. I wanted to try to put in appropriate context. He took the images and modernized it, you know, and plastered it, remixed it, like this devil always does, you know, for modern times. Just like the image of Cesare Borgia, you could say the so-called white man stole it, but more than likely, you know, of course, the image is wicked in itself. So these devils will take these historical figures and icons on the left hand side, and then they'll modernize it. They'll put a little couple extra touches and hints here and there, you know, make it up, and they'll portray it as something that was new. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, as it is written, how the hidden things that Esau searched out, we do our homework, all right, and we see that, oh man, you know, like how that's a reaction. I'd be like, oh, you know, see, this devil is a goddamn liar. You know, he try to make it seem like he's the originator, you know, or this image is the prototype that he created. But nonetheless, we can peel back the layers and see that this image has already been established in ancient Rome under the image of Libertas. So it says Libertas, Latin for liberty or freedom, is the Roman goddess and personification of liberty. She became a politicized figure in the later Republic. She sometimes also appeared in coins from the imperial period, such as Galba's Freedom of the People. Coins during his short reign after the death of Nero. She is usually portrayed with two accoutrements, the spear and a Phrygian cap, which I think that's where actually fitted caps into today's time have modernized to, which she holds out in her right hand rather than wears on her head. Yeah, and the Phrygian cap is a image of freedom for slaves. If I'm not mistaken, slaves would actually can get these caps as a representation of slavery. Because, you know, I went through this years ago. If I'm not mistaken, there was a specific cap that they would give their slaves, but it might have been it might have possibly been a different cap, because you could actually, the original cap of liberty was the pileus. That's it, the pileus. Excuse me. So the pileus was a cap that was worn even through slaves, and I don't know if people wore it fashionably. I don't know the different. I haven't read through all these articles, but I do know that the pileus was a cap that slaves would wear to identify that they were free. So it says, let me just read a little bit on this article point, see what it says. Appointed version called Pileus Cornutus served as a distinguishing sign for the Jewish people in the Roman Empire for 5 centuries. Let me see. Jewish hat, cone-shaped pointed hat, which I don't know if these were actually the double O's or was these actually Jake, because the scripture said that there's no new thing under the sun. And dealing in regards to our people love fitteds. Now, biblical culture, our people weren't wearing hats, but nonetheless, you know, we all know through the spirit and power of the Lord that our people are the originators of everything. So, see the fitteds, no, or the distinguishing caps, skull caps, as they say, pointed hats, you know, Phrygian caps. So, like I said, through the spirit, I just want to go into that point that there's no new thing under the sun, and this is definitely Rome all over again. There's an insurmountable amount of evidence that we are definitely living in Rome all over again. You know, from the government establishment to the leaders, to what even the scriptures speak in reference to the eagle. You know, because the Lord judged ancient Rome through its wickedness, as it is written in James the 5th chapter, through the denarius, devaluing of the currency. That something that also that was major in Rome was they was poison. There was pipes, the pipes or the water systems in ancient Rome was so corrupted that it was causing if I'm not mistaken, gout or bodily problems amongst the commoners. So the Roman economy started to dilapidate. The financial economy, corruption was extremely high. You have when Nero burned down the third of Rome and then blamed the Israelites. You had the Jewish expulsion of Rome. So Rome was a kingdom that was established upon wickedness, and they soared high. Same thing with America. As we see America in its establishment, we see that the elevation of this kingdom only advances through evil. Look at the technology. The scriptures speak about this, the mistress of witchcraft. These devils don't grow through farming and agriculture and spiritualism of the Most High and tapping into the right hand side. Because look at the scripture, look at the people. Yeah, as you drive through these different cities and counties, the people are miles of poison. Everybody's sick, everybody's dilapidated and have degenerative health. If you go through these different hospitals, if you're a registered nurse, or you're a individual that's working within that specific environment, you might be a cop that works in a hospital. Man, the hospital be full of just sick people, and they're not being remedied. They're receiving allopathic treatment that's killing them. So America is worse than Rome, but it took all the crafts, as it is written in Mistress of Witchcraft, from ancient Rome and amalgamated it with Babylon, Greece, Persia, as well as Syria, and other neighboring kingdoms at a specific time, and put it all in one, say, like hodgepodge, so to speak. So we break these things down. We pull it all out through the spirit. We put the magnifying glasses on it, and we put the light on it and expose it so that you see through it and see everything clearly, to not be caught up within this witchcraft. Because that's all witchcraft is. It's the deception, it's the sleight of the hand, and it's darkness. And it plays on the mind of the naive and the ones that don't have the appropriate faculties and mentality to see through it. So us brothers who have our eyes anointed, as it is written in the book of Revelations, anoint thy eyes with eye salve that thou mayest see, we give you the understanding clearly so you don't get caught up within the web of lies and deception. So this is Obadiah 1:6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And it comes through the prophets. It comes through us brothers that painstakingly do our research, starting off with Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakar, Apostle Ramlab, the elders, Elder Manatazak, Elder Anab, Elder Abad, Elder Aithun, Elder Tazadakba, Elder Big Gad. List goes on and on. The elders of Yashawan, but these elders on down, all of us brothers through their respective heads and bishops and brothers, we stay on this man's ass. We don't let up on him. We don't give him a pass, and we don't justify his wickedness. We expose it and we put it on his platforms, and we don't give a damn if you clip our page. You could clip 1,000 pages. Spirit Apostle just dropped this. He is guilty of the blasphemy, which I think he's going live right now, and it's 12 o'clock. So, nonetheless, we expose this man, and we're not going to let off the gas, because this man is being broken down, just as ancient Rome. Rome had his run. Rome was great, had a great military, was known through his military formations and his industries of power. But nonetheless, they dilapidated and they failed, just as America's going to fall. So with that, I'm going to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shema Shah by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Akim.